Barcelona bowls you over with its charm, audacity, and style. Tradition and daring mingle to create a thoroughly unique style that sings out in the streets, in the art, and in the cuisine. Architecture is the Catalan medium, and bricks and tiles its palette. The city enchants with playful forms, shapes, and colors. From the waves that lap at the city's doorstep, to the fanciful parks, to La Rambla, the city's lively thoroughfare, Barcelona dances to a beat all its own. We'll explore Barcelona's Old Gothic quarter, the modernist architecture in the section known as Eixample, and the museums and views on hilltop Montjuic. This famous boulevard, named for the sandy riverbed that once skirted the city, changes character as it flows a mile from Plaza Catalunya to the port. Along the way, you'll encounter every type of street performer possible. The street abounds with tourists, fragrant flower stalls, and there's never a dull moment. La Rambla's food market, La Boqueria, offers a dazzling array of products and some great bars for lunch. Just step off the northern half of La Rambla and you find yourself in the historical heart of the city. This is the Old Gothic quarter, known as Barri Gòtic. Barcelona flourished in the 13th century, a result of seafaring conquests and trade. For back then, Barcelona was the capital of Catalonia, an independent region in northeast Spain. Catalonia's fortunes waxed and waned, and eventually the region merged into the Spanish Empire. But the people never quite followed, and a fierce independence still marks the Catalan spirit. In the 14th century, this was the city's beachfront, and here the Catalans built their most glorious Gothic church, Santa Maria del Mar. It's a symbol of the prosperity born from their sea trade. The first thing you'll notice inside the church is the wide open space. The lofty bare columns support Gothic arches with a pure plainness. This was the Sailors' and Merchants' Church, built by every able body in Barcelona in the 14th century. Barri Gòtic is a warren of narrow streets and sudden, peaceful plazas. Anything can turn up, from a hole-in-the-wall restaurant to a unique little shop to a local musician practicing for a show. Flamenco music has its origins in the music and dance of gypsies of Andalusia in southern Spain. Guitar was added in the 19th century. Barri Gòtic is also home to cafes that serve traditional mid-morning snacks. Christopher Columbus brought cocoa beans back to Spain from the New World. The Spanish added sugar to the bitter concoction, and chocolate drinks became all the rage in Europe. If the 13th century was Barcelona's golden age, the late 1800s were its renaissance. Barcelona once again grew wealthy, in part from the growing textile industry, and the city expanded beyond its medieval center to create l'Eixample, or enlargement. Rich industrialists built houses here using architects who became known as the Modernistas. Fueling this intense, fantastic work was an immense Catalan pride. The tradition of Catalan music was being reborn, and a concert hall, the Palau de la Música Catalana, was commissioned from modernista architect Domènech i Montaner. To fully experience this exuberant interior, try to attend one of the evening concerts. Of all the modernistas in Barcelona, one name rises above the rest: Antonio Gaudí. He's considered a genius and was the most original architect of his time. In the late 1800s, Gaudí teamed up with wealthy patron and art lover Eusebio. The result is several mind-bending houses, a park, and the world's most fanciful church. On June 7, 1926, at 5:30 in the evening, Gaudí left work on the church that he had been obsessively building for some 43 years. Walking home, his head full of spires, he crossed in front of a tram and was struck down. 2 days later, Barcelona's genius was dead. Gaudí never finished the church. Since Gaudí's death, La Sagrada Familia moved slowly to completion, amid much controversy about Gaudí's original intent. Gaudí was a young man with little work to his name when chosen for this commission. But by the end of his life, he was celebrated for his work. The Nativity facade on the northeast side of the church, with its dripping Gothic style, was mostly supervised and crafted by Gaudí before his death. The interior of the church is largely unfinished, except for tall structural columns that resemble a forest of trees, and great modern Gothic windows. Gaudí spared no expense on the Palau Quay, a home for his rich patron. The exterior is palatial, even forbidding. But the rooftop is pure fantasy. Whimsical chimneys and ventilators mushroom out of the ground, covered with ceramics. Gaudí loved the play of the tile colors and how the light danced on the patterns. Gaudí's originality and playfulness have inspired generations of Barcelonans to expect the unexpected. Here at the Festa de la Gracia, every August, the buildings and streets come wildly alive. In one neighborhood, I witnessed the Catalan Sardana dance. Hands linked, the dancers follow a series of simple steps. Newcomers enter the circle, drop their belongings in the middle, and join in. The unity of this close-knit dance echoes generations of determined Catalans clinging to a proud past. As evening grows near, giants from Catalan folklore parade down the streets. The procession is capped off by dancing demons and wild firework displays that leave you breathless and slightly deaf. Barcelona wears a festive air all year long. No city park anywhere can compare with Gaudí's masterpiece, Parc Güell, located just north of Eixample. In 1900, Gaudí designed the park for his patron, Eusebio, who wanted to lure buyers to an upscale housing development here on the outskirts of the city. The development failed, but the park shines as Gaudí at his most playful. Workers on Gaudí's buildings all over town were instructed to pick up bottles, plates, and tiles found in the street and to bring them to the park to be shattered into little pieces. Gaudí especially liked the blue rosewater bottles, popular at the time. This magical park hardly seems the work of a conservative, extremely religious and rigid man who, in his later years, became a recluse. This is the paradox of Gaudí, and in some ways of Catalonia itself. Serious, even somber at times, and at other times playful and wildly innovative. The modernistas must have taken inspiration from the deep blue waters of the Mediterranean, or at least been cheered up by them. Barcelona's beachfront is livelier and cleaner than ever before, and everyone's out taking advantage. Barcelona, at once reserved and outlandish, traditional and progressive, this Catalan capital embraces the spirit of the past and a zest for the future. It's a dream of a city that boldly creates its own version of reality. In the streets, in the art, and in the cuisine. Architecture is the Catalan medium, and bricks and tiles its palette. The city enchants with playful forms, shapes, and colors. From the waves that lap at the city's doorstep, to the fanciful parks, to La Rambla, the city's lively thoroughfare, Barcelona dances to a beat all its own. We'll explore Barcelona's Old Gothic quarter, the modernist architecture in a section known as Eixample. Barcelona bowls you over with its charm, audacity, and style. Tradition and daring mingle to create a thoroughly unique style that sings out